When we think of an island, what comes to our minds are images of paradise beaches, crystal clear waters, the sound of waves and palm trees. But did you know that some islands are just the opposite? They have no beaches, crystal clear waters, nor do they even have palm trees. And worse yet, they're always surrounded by thick fog. This means if you're a sailor who's traveling to this island, you must be extremely careful. That is because there is a lighthouse on the island that's very special and has a huge secret. The lighthouse is named Pharaoh, a name that has nothing to do with Egypt and everything to do with its own history. It turns out that this lighthouse was built in 1842, making it 190 years old, almost 200 years. It has its tower about 37 meters high and has a powerful light at the top to help ships avoid dangerous reefs and navigate safely through the area. The first thing we need to talk about is the lamp at the top of the lighthouse. The lamp is placed so high up to serve as a warning to sailors so they don't get too close to the shore and crash into the reefs. In fact, the main function of all lighthouses is to warn ships of the presence of rocks, cliffs, or reefs so that the captain can take the necessary precautions to avoid hitting them. In addition, the light of the lighthouse helps sailors to know the exact location of the coast and allows them to identify which direction they should go to reach port. At first glance, you might think, what's so difficult about that? Can you just look at your phone for directions? Well, yes, today you can. But before GPS technology existed, sailors had to use nautical charts and maps. So the lighthouse served as a reference point to help them accurately plot their course and location. Also, there are many maps for sailors to choose from, but none of them have the exact coordinates of the reefs and rocks that are around the island. Therefore, the lighthouse is vital to avoid hitting these reefs, but that's not all the lighthouse does. There are also lighthouses that serve as access signals, that is, they indicate that there is a safe harbor nearby. These lighthouses are usually located near ports or harbors, serving as a guide for ships entering or leaving the port. In addition, they can also be used as a starting or ending point for a ship's journey, providing a clear reference for navigation. But why is this island's lighthouse called Pharaoh? As mentioned earlier, the word lighthouse comes from the Greek word Pharos, referring to the island of Pharos in Egypt, where the famous Tower of Alexandria, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, was built. According to legend, the tower was built after a terrible accident that happened when Alexander the Great returned to the port city of Alexandria. He needed to dock his fleet, but due to darkness and bad weather, he couldn't see the shore and ended up running aground. To prevent more accidents like this from happening, he ordered the construction of a lighthouse, which became known as the Pharaoh's Tower. The purpose of a lighthouse is to illuminate the path of sailors at night, or in foggy conditions so they don't crash into rocks or reefs and lose their lives. But when a lighthouse appears in your dreams, it doesn't necessarily mean you'll be sailing anytime soon. The lighthouse in your dream may represent something else entirely, but you need to pay attention to the details of the dream to better understand what it means. First of all, let's talk about the general symbolism of the lighthouse. Lighthouses often symbolize guidance, protection, and hope. In times of trouble, a lighthouse can offer a sense of security and reassurance, helping people navigate difficult situations. On the other hand, lighthouses can also represent isolation and loneliness. If someone is trapped on a deserted island with no one around, the lonely lighthouse may be the only sign of civilization, and the person may feel isolated and disconnected from the world. Next, consider the emotions you felt in the dream. Were you feeling lost, confused, or scared? Or were you feeling guided, protected, or hopeful? Your feelings in the dream can provide clues to help you interpret its meaning. For example, if you dreamed of being lost in a storm and then seeing a lighthouse, it could symbolize that you're going through a difficult time in your life, but you're beginning to see a glimmer of hope. On the other hand, if you dream that you're inside a lighthouse, it could mean that you're feeling trapped or isolated in your current situation. It's also important to pay attention to the details of the dream, such as the appearance of the lighthouse. Was it tall and majestic or crumbling and dilapidated? The condition of the lighthouse in your dream could symbolize your own well-being and mental health. A tall, sturdy lighthouse could represent confidence and stability, while a dilapidated lighthouse could indicate feelings of vulnerability and insecurity. Another detail to pay attention to is the color of the lighthouse. Different colors can evoke different emotions and have different meanings. For example, a red lighthouse could symbolize danger and warning, while a green lighthouse could represent nature and Islam. Finally, think about the actions you took in the dream. Did you approach the lighthouse? Did you climb it? Or did you just watch it from a distance? Your actions in the dream can provide insight into how you're dealing with the situation you're facing in your waking life. Approaching the lighthouse could indicate a desire for guidance and support, while climbing the lighthouse could symbolize a need for independence and self-reliance. In summary, dreaming of a lighthouse can have various meanings depending on the context and details of the dream. It's essential to analyze your feelings, the appearance of the lighthouse, and the actions you took in the dream to gain insight into your current situation and any challenges or opportunities you may be facing. For the lighthouse to work properly, it needs to be activated by a worker who lives inside the lighthouse. Now imagine this scenario. You're a lighthouse keeper and you notice that the flame of the lighthouse is fading. What would you do? Of course, this wouldn't be good because it would stop working and ships would start crashing. You would need to act fast to fix this problem. This is exactly what happened with Pharaoh's lighthouse. When the flame began to fade, the lighthouse keeper knew he had to act quickly. However, the lighthouse is over 100 years old, and finding parts to replace the old ones is almost impossible. He had only one option: to contact the Lighthouse and Meridian Society, a non-profit organization dedicated to preserving and restoring historic lighthouses. Luckily, the society agreed to help and sent a team of engineers to assess the damage. After examining the lighthouse, the engineers determined that the best solution was to build a new optical system that would fit inside the old lantern room without altering its historical character. With funding from a government grant and private donations, the restoration work began in early 2022. The project team carefully selected materials and equipment to ensure they didn't damage the historic structure during the renovation. The new optical system was installed inside the original lantern room, maintaining the lighthouse's historic appearance. On November 28, 2022, the Pharaoh Lighthouse was relit, marking the end of a successful restoration project. Thanks to the efforts of the lighthouse keeper, the Lighthouse and Meridian Society and everyone involved, the iconic beacon continues to guide sailors and serve as a reminder of the island's rich maritime history. The story of the Pharaoh Lighthouse is a testament to the importance of preserving our cultural heritage. Historic lighthouses like this one aren't just relics of the past, they play a vital role in our present and future. By investing in the restoration of these structures, we ensure that future generations can continue to enjoy their beauty and benefit from their historical significance. If you're ever near the coast, take a moment to appreciate the hard work and dedication of the lighthouse keepers who keep our waters safe. These brave men and women have served as beacons of hope and guidance for centuries, helping sailors navigate treacherous waters and reach their destination safely. So next time you see a lighthouse, take a moment to appreciate its beauty and the important role it plays in our lives. And now I want to hear from you. Have you ever seen a lighthouse in real life? What did you think when you saw it? Let me know in the comments below. I also invite you to share your experiences and stories related to lighthouses. Who knows, maybe your story will inspire someone else. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe to continue learning more interesting things. Until next time.
Digital magazine wonders of nature. Fascinating articles. Stunning photographs. Delivered in PDF format. Get them in the links of our channels. Purchasing digital magazines is a good way to stay informed.